Hello everyone and welcome to the Starseed Dragon channel. Sorry about the new ring light. Everyone keeps talking about the ring lights. This is a review of the Earth Magic Oracle cards. I recently moved, so I apologize for the echoes. This is a 48 card Oracle deck. Let's measure it up. These cards are nice and thick, nice and big. Hopefully we can figure out something with that ring light. Okay. So shiny. Okay, let's measure them up, shall we? The tape measure. So they are 5 inches or 13 centimeters by 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters. Nice quality, as you can tell, they're shiny. Let's see if I can get a close up. We'll do it this way. Do it a little backwards. Why not? So you can see the beautiful images. And it's got a lovely book that has, oh, there's notes in the back. Nice. 170 pages. So I'm just going to, there are descriptions of whatchamacallit, the cards themselves. As you can see, there are spreads and whatnot. I'm only going to read the description parts, okay? So we are going to start off with ancestors, generations. Okay, we're good to go. Where are my reading goggles? Got my coffee. We're set. Okay, ancestors, generations. You have within you the blood of your ancestors. You are deeply connected to your lineage, the most immediate proof of that being the physical resemblance you have to your mother and father, and perhaps even your grandparents. Yet beyond that, although unknown to your usual senses, you are connected to an ancestry that reaches back through the millennia. This is the time to call upon those ancestors, those who are of your bloodline, as well as those ancient ones who have walked the land that you now walk. In many indigenous cultures, it is believed that the essence of your ancestors inhibits many of the physical aspects of the land. In other words, they are the trees, the water, the air, the animals, the stones, their blood being in the very dirt and sand you tread upon. Next time you are outside, allow your senses to open to those ancestors who abide in the physical world, and any time at all, allow your heart to open to those spirits to whom you are related through your heredity and those to whom you are connected by virtue of the land upon which you live. Beautiful. Next card. Autumn Equinox. Release. Now is the time to let anything in your life fall away that is no longer useful or needed for the emerging expression of who you are. Allow yourself to gradually shed what has become burdensome and no longer congruent with your soul's purpose. Conserve your energy by allowing yourself more rest while at the same time making preparations for the winter season. Look especially at your material possessions and be brutally honest with yourself as you discern which of these can be given away or somehow released. Consider shedding relationships that have served their purpose and are no longer viable, as well as work or a job that has become devoid of interest and passion. With release comes a sense of being much lighter. Just like the trees that openly bear their nakedness, once their leaves have departed and give room for whatever new life is ready to birth following a period of quiet and gestation. So let go of whatever has outlived its purposefulness and trust that something else will take its place. Beautiful. Next card. Cave, Sanctuary. There is a quiet, still place inside of you that will always be available as a sanctuary. Yet finding such a place in the natural world will enhance and complement this internal place of peace. Whether it is a cave, meadow, forest, seashore, or any other setting in nature, this is where you can see, hear, and feel the presence of the Creator in your surroundings. Let it become a temple for your heart and soul. Rather than having your computer, television, or any other human-made device or activity be your sanctuary, allow yourself to discover the perfect place in nature where you can simply be and breathe. Doing so bridges the connection between the internal and external, facilitating a spiritual communion that allows your being to be aligned in dramatic and quiet reverie with all that is. In today's busy world, it becomes even more critical to set aside time for sanctuary, even if you have to schedule it. So true. Next up, ceremony, invocation. Whether through indifference, depression, life crisis, or any other manifestation of mental, emotional, or physical blockages, you have drifted from the intimacy with spirit for which you yearn. It is important to do what you can to regain an experience of spiritual power that is contained within you and all around you. Do so by conducting a ceremony, one that involves not only spirit, but also material objects you consider sacred. Set up an altar in a convenient area that is apart from your usual living space. Start with representations of the four major elements: earth, air, fire, and water. And then add just a few sacred objects. Set your intention for the ceremony, such as whether the purpose is for healing, celebration, or honoring a particular earth season or cycle. Then do an invocation to call upon your spirit guides. Breathe their presence and ask these divine beings to guide you through the process. Trust their guidance. Feel your heart and keep breathing. Breath is a key to the actual experience of spirit, and creating a ceremony is the vehicle that supports this. I wholeheartedly agree. Ceremonies are very, very important in everyday life, no matter who you are or how you practice your life or your spiritual being. Next up is childhood, innocence. Innocence is not simply the lack of guilt or shame, but a quality in itself. One that you naturally possess when you first come into this existence. There are challenges you have faced throughout life that have further shaped your personality and character. You have also likely encountered moments following a disappointment or loss when you turned sour or cynical, and no doubt have had times when layers of anger or fear blocked the flow of your vitality and your life force. Yet in spite of all this, there is a core of innocence that you can reawaken by releasing any shame that has covered over the truth of who you are. Take an opportunity to heal this shame and let it go so you can revisit that state of purity. Doing so helps you see every moment with fresh eyes and removes the filters that inhibit your light and love from coming forth. You truly are a child of God, so allow yourself to be that. Agreed. Lovely definitions. Clouds, shape-shifting. In both subtle and more dramatic ways, you can shape-shift by your choice of clothing, hairstyle, adornments, and even mannerisms, such as facial expressions, gestures, and the way you walk. By adjusting these along with your internal attitude, you can actually display different personas when you experiment with these variations of self-expressions that are not how you ordinarily present yourself. Others will react to you, depending on the degree in which your persona contrasts with the one they are most familiar with. Be like the clouds as you try out different forms, stretching your limits at times, willing to move and adjust as necessary. Lift your head up, square your shoulders, and stand tall such that your chest and heart open to the world. And note how this feels. You may feel vulnerable at first, but stay with it. Then let your shoulders fall forward slightly, pull your chest inward an inch or two, and let your head drop a little. Observe how this feels. Experiment with contracting your aura, your energy field. Then expand it as far as you comfortably can. By this kind of shape-shifting, you can consciously choose your expression into the world. Just remember who you are at the core. Very true. Next up is crystals. Focus. It is time to bring your complete focus to the subject of your inquiry. Eliminate all distractions and give this your undivided attention. Whether this is a project, relationship, or simply a relaxing time spent walking in nature, be fully present to the situation. This sharpening of focus will expand your awareness and allow your inner guidance to penetrate your consciousness, which can then be parlayed into appropriate action. By being focused with crystal clarity, you are in the flow of your life force and, in fact, have become one with it. It is not a hypervigilant or tension-filled state, but one of relaxed attention. Keep your eyes, ears, and heart focused on that which you need to pay attention to, and miracles can be created. To paraphrase a fictional elder, use the force and use it in life-enhancing ways. Beautiful. Next card, dance, celebration. The sacredness of any celebration is dependent upon the quality of spirit that is present. The quality of spirit is greater to the degree that you are fully present, with minimal inhibitions about expressing your joy and happiness through physical movement. Focus on what you want to celebrate. Put on some music and dance, whether slow or fast. Sing a song while you do so. Make one up about what you have to celebrate. God's wish is for everyone to enjoy their time on earth, and part of that wish is to celebrate your capacity to be joyous and express it through your body. Whether in private with a small group of friends or a large communal gathering, let music, song, and dance be a part of your sacred ceremony regardless of what you are celebrating, for truly any celebration is sacred. That is very, very true. I dance and sing all the time when I'm at home doing my dishes or cleaning my house, or even when I'm out and about and music is playing in a store. I dance and I don't care who's watching. It's a beautiful thing. Next card. Dawn, new beginnings. When you witness the initial stages of dawn without the benefit of a clock or other timepiece, for a while you may not be able to discern whether the sky is really lightening. The stars remain visible, the shadows of the night still shape the landscape. It is that way with any beginning. It is difficult to tell where the old ends and the new begins. Gradually, however, it becomes clear to your senses that the light is definitely increasing. And as you continue to observe, the world slowly wakes up, accompanied by all the sounds, smells, and freshness associated with it. Soon the first glimmer of the sun shows, and a new day has begun, as is a time to say farewell to the old and honor the new by releasing any self-imposed constraints or resistance to the truth that you know. This is your chance to develop that project you have been thinking about. Embark on that adventure you have dreamed of going on, and take risks in initiating what your intuitive self has been telling you to do. As this prospect becomes increasingly visible and real, doubts and uncertainties may arise. But rest assured, just as dawn inevitably turns into day, by heeding your inner guidance, you will succeed. Beautiful. Agreed. Desert Vision Quest. A vision quest is a process where you spend a few days in the wilderness alone. Typically, you carry only water and some sacred items with you, and you spend most of the time praying or meditating. Many who have completed a vision quest assert that it is a powerful and even life-changing experience, and report vivid and profound revelations. It is said that the desert does not lie, so partaking in this can help you discover the truth about your purpose, or at least give you some clues. It is time for you to go on a vision quest. Designate a place in nature in which to dwell, whether for a couple of hours or a few days. Spend the majority of your time while there, praying and meditating. It is best to be in a location where you can truly find solitude, even if it is in a quiet corner of a park for an afternoon. Wherever you go, take your question, concern, or challenge with you into prayer or meditation. Allow it to float around in your consciousness and watch what shows up. This is one of the more powerful cards. By drawing it, whatever other messages you may have received are amplified threefold. I have to say, I've been on a couple of vision quests in my time, and they are quite profound. I highly recommend that every human being on this planet go on a vision quest at least once in their life. It is rather eye-opening indeed. Next card, DNA, Karma. Aspects of your soul entered your primitive physical self long before you had begun to take form. While the DNA that you inherited from your biological parents has a physical component, it also has a soul pattern that came together in the creation of you. You are predisposed to follow the karmic dictates of this patterning to some extent. Yet as you evolve in your consciousness and expand the light of awareness, you can make choices that shift and modify this ancestral design. This is one of those times you can feel the tug of your soul that is both ancient and karmic, yet you also recognize the persistent and loving communication from your higher self that contradicts the more familiar solutions before you. The choice is up to you, but know that every time you heed the guidance of your higher self, no matter what etheric or physical form it takes, human consciousness is elevated. In a sense, it becomes a choice between destiny and fate. Beautiful. Now, Next up, Dragonfly Emergence. And I just want to make sure we're still recording. Yep, still recording. Okay. You are in an intense process of emergence into the next cycle of your life. Unlike more gradual shifts in awareness you have experienced, this one is happening quite rapidly and came on somewhat unexpectedly, without any pauses for contemplation or indecision. You may even think that you are unprepared for such dramatic changes in your life, yet you are prepared and can put to use the experiences and wisdom you have accumulated up to now. Life is demanding that you move into the next stage of maturity. This requires you to adjust your thinking about yourself, others, and your community. It calls for you to shed yet another layer of your ego-filled defenses and let go of any illusions of being less than who you are. This period of emergence is one of broadened consciousness and heightened perceptual capacities. And since it is inevitable, it is best to surrender to the flow and allow yourself to gracefully move into the next cycle of your life. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. Oops. Oopsie. Okay. Next card. Dreamtime. Creation. Okay. Dreamtime. Creation. Let's see here. Close your eyes, tune into your breathing, and allow yourself to sink deeply into the heart of the living creation that you are. As you notice your breath becoming steady and slightly deeper than usual, observe the urge within you that is begging to come forth in some creative action. Pay attention to any images, sounds, or feelings that beckon your awareness, and there you will find the key as to the manner in which to express this magnificent pulse. Your breath is the crossover between spirit and physical reality. Breathing comfortably and steadily helps you align yourself with spirit, which then brings a clearer focus on what creative expression is preparing to be birthed through and from you. Discard any habitual thought patterns that would prevent the manifestation of what you are being prompted to bring forth. Allow yourself to take risks with this self-expression, and all of creation will smile upon you. Beautiful. Next card. Eagle. Communication. Or communion, rather. Whenever you experience a heartfelt communion with some physical expression of life, plant, animal, human, or anything else, it is only then that you can truly feel how your life force is similar to the life force that is all around you. It is only a matter of the differences in form. An essence is articulated into the physical world in a multitude of ways that is the same in everything and everyone, although it manifests in various shapes and characteristics. This essence is spirit emanating from the core of all things. Communion with nature is essential for you now. Take some time to do an open-eyed meditation with any nearby animal or plant. Relax your body as much as possible. Breathe consciously. and keep your attention on the life form you are communing with. After a few moments, you will notice a sense of the boundaries dissolving, a melding of the I and thou. You may even receive messages or impressions as you find yourself in the flow of unspoken communication. Beautiful. Let me just make sure that my volume is up. Okay, well, I guess my volume is up. There we go. Oh, nope. What am I doing here? Okay, there we go. Well, that's okay. I don't know how to turn my volume up, apparently. Okay. Next card. Fairies. I know, I'm messing with it. I'm sorry. Okay. Fairies. All right. You have the same power available to you as the fairies do. It starts with loving the earth through your heartfelt gratitude and appreciation, but more important, through your actions. The fairies can help you reconnect in a more intimate way with the earth, and all they require is your willingness to pay attention to the trees and plant life around you and demonstrate your care. Whether you live in a small space or have an expanse of land, make it a point to be especially attentive to your surrounding vegetation. Plant something. Get your hands in the dirt and do so with love and enthusiasm. Every flower, tree, or shrub you are tending is a living being, so treat each like you would a dear friend. Ask the fairies to help you take care of these friends, and you will be rewarded many times over. Gorgeous. Fire, passion. What are your passions? What turns you on? What ignites that inner flame, that creative spark? When you feel devoid of passion, consider what is missing in your life. It is most likely an absence of fire in your belly, something that makes your heart beat faster and quickens your breathing. Passion is not something that comes from outside of you, although some events and circumstances can trigger it. It is an intensity of feeling, whether quietly experienced or enthusiastically expressed. Passion can simply be a strong feeling, or the sensation itself can be so powerful that it motivates you to act. This is too often associated exclusively with sexuality, which is certainly one way of experiencing it, yet it limits its meaning and demeans the broader possibilities. Open yourself to the truth of what you are passionate about and find a means to express it. Beautiful. Next up is fog, veiled. You are enmeshed in confusion and uncertainty and are unsure if it will ever clear up. This is not the best time to make decisions, particularly any major ones. Know that this foggy veil will eventually dissolve. Although there may be ways you are unconsciously contributing to this state, the greater truth is that this is simply a cycle you are moving through. And like all things, this too shall pass. Allow yourself to feel confused. In fact, decide to be confused. No matter what attempts you make right now, make things happen or move in any specific direction out of impatience or frustration, you risk only creating more confusion and uncertainty. So be still and patient. Wait for the first glimmer of awareness to lift the veil so that you can see the choices before you more clearly and can then choose to align yourself with the will of Spirit. Beautiful. Next card, Forest, breath. Your breathing is too shallow. Although it may feel natural, it is an unhealthy habit that causes this shortness of breath. When you subconsciously shorten your breath, no matter if this is habitual or triggered by some event or circumstance, it activates certain psychological signals or physiological signals that prepare your system for fight or flight. Another conditioned response to perceived danger is to hold your breath. This is your survival response, although it does not serve you to do so. So, breathe. Inhale deeply, regardless of your concerns, worries, or problems. Then let it go. Next, allow yourself to breathe a little deeper and slower a few times. Remember that every breath you inhale is a gift, and every breath you exhale is a gift. The forest is a clear reminder of how this works. Gorgeous. Okay, next up. Full moon, completion. You can now take pleasure in knowing that whatever you have been working toward has now reached its culmination. It may have been a relatively brief cycle or a much more extensive one. Yet, regardless of the length of time, you have arrived at the stage of completion. Let yourself feel the contentment and satisfaction of this accomplishment. It is like when you take a deep breath and reach the point where your lungs are pleasantly full and your body is ready to release that breath. It is important to not only enjoy this completion, but also to let go and allow yourself to relax afterward, just like exhaling slowly and consciously. People are much too eager to rush to the next item on the agenda without giving proper time and space to appreciating and honoring the natural cycle of release that follows a point of resolution. Give yourself that time to relax and rest before tackling Spirit's next assignment. Hear, hear. Next up, Gaia, nurturing. Receiving can be a sacred act of your intention is to honor Spirit. Okay, let me restart that. Receiving can be a sacred act if your intention is to honor Spirit. It is as holy as giving when performed with a humble and open heart. This is even truer when receiving much needed nurturing. So let others give to you. It may be a stretch to do so at times because of childhood conditioning, but that habit can be overcome. Your wounds can be healed. One way to achieve this is to nurture yourself and allow others to nurture you. Consider the actions you take that are self-nurturing. What comes to your mind when you really think about doing beneficial things for yourself? Set aside your ritualized habits and beliefs that restrict the pure act of allowing your body, heart, and soul to be nurtured. lie on the earth and ask Gaia to rock you in her bosom as you breathe with her and relax into her loving care. Gorgeous. Next up, Green Man, Synergy. That's a beautiful card. You have the advantage of an incredible synergy at this time. A flow of life is guiding you, where things just seem to fall into place as you move about your business. You are in a mutually cooperative interaction with Spirit, as your will is aligned with the will of Spirit, and your mission is congruent with your sense of purpose. When this is happening, there is a synergy, a way that your life force is continually coming into balance with the forces of nature. There is also a synergy between your spiritual awareness and your personal self or ego. Be aware of the various idiosyncrasies of your ego and do not take any of them too seriously. Know that your higher self is always looking out for your best interests. In this cycle, tune in to that guidance, however it shows up, and you will find that you move through life with greater ease due to a synergistic balance of forces expressing themselves as you. Beautiful. Next card, Iceberg, Submerged. Whatever you suppress or deny and attempt to keep out of conscious awareness will show up somewhere and somehow. These are your shadow aspects. At one time, you put them out of your consciousness for good reason, yet they remain contained by shame and guilt. Sometimes these submerged aspects of yourself are projected onto others so that they mirror those denied or suppressed parts of you. And you may even harshly judge these characteristics when they are exhibited. Now is the time to allow these elements to surface and embrace them. These may make up some sort of self-expression, a secret dream you wish to accomplish, or even uglier aspects that are difficult to acknowledge or accept. Whatever you have submerged deep inside of you, this is your opportunity to pay attention to those things and welcome them to the family called you. Beautiful. Next up is Island, Solitude. You need to take some time for solitude, preferably in silence. Spend the morning, afternoon, or even the entire day by yourself, completely unplanned and unstructured. The bombardment of your senses by the noise and intensity of society leaves you on alert far more than is necessary. The vibration of millions of people's worry and fear throughout the world can impinge upon you and greatly affect you if you do not honor your need to pull back from time to time. When you have passed through any self-constructed barriers to enjoying the quiet peace of solitude, it will serve you best if you simply observe the thoughts and emotions that pass through you, especially those that cause shortness of breath or a quickening of heartbeat. Remember that isolation is experienced not by choice, but out of fear. When you decide to spend time with yourself in solitude, however, you are choosing to once again find and connect with who you really are. True, true, so very, very true. Next up, Lake, Stillness. The tempo of life these days has sped up considerably, and there seems to be no end to the quickening pace. Immersed as we are in the technological whirlpool, there seems no escape. However, there is no need to be a prisoner to the hurry up syndrome, nor is there a need to feel trapped by the awareness of the collective intensities that massive numbers of humans are experiencing these days. No matter if the noise is from your environment or your seemingly non-stop thinking, it is critical for you to seek stillness. Find it in your world, whether it is a special place in your home or a place in nature that is far from human-made noise. Of particular importance is finding it inside yourself, which can be made easier by being in a quiet place in a natural setting. Doing so not only relaxes your mind, but also heightens your awareness and senses. Beautiful. Next up, lightning, power. Oh, that's pretty. The power available to you, the force of life itself, is neutral. It is neither inherently good nor bad. It is how you utilize it that will determine whether it is ultimately harmful or life-giving and congruent with the will of spirit that pulses through you. What is required is awareness of your intention, your values, and your willingness to act on them under the particular circumstances of your inquiry. Although you may see yourself as using this power for good, do not allow yourself to get caught up in the duality of good or bad in determining your decision or actions. Through prayer or ceremony, you can tap into this spiritual force, and by paying close attention to Spirit's prompting, your choice will ultimately be revealed to you, one that is beyond your typical perspective. From there, you can continue to assess this divine power that is the very force driving the universe. Gorgeous. Next up, Lotus flower. Unfoldment. Your spiritual unfoldment is occurring at all times, whether or not you are aware of it. It is inevitable as long as you put your trust in the hands of the Creator, the one who holds the light. Like the lotus, your soul is always reaching for the light to fulfill its karmic destiny. But even in that process, there are periods of darkness and times to rest. It is a natural cycle, one that cannot truly be coerced or halted. It has an intimate rhythm of its own, one that is unique to the being that is you. You do not need to strive or be driven by spiritual ambition. It does no good to try to force growth upon yourself, or others for that matter. Allowing is the key here. Allow the place in you that naturally wants to follow the light to do so, while recognizing that even when you have complete faith, you will face challenges and occasionally suffering. Your steady faith and love will guide you on your journey of returning to the light. Beautiful. Next up, love, compassion. All wounds stem from the illusion of separation from Source and all of creation. The route of healing this wound is through cultivating love and compassion for every being on this planet, including yourself. Agreed. Not a bland standard of unquestioned acceptance, but a heart-filled sense of profound relatedness to whatever you perceive as a part of from yourself. True compassion requires not only the feeling of warmth that emanates when you are in touch with your heart center, but in acts of kindness, even if this simply means being a fully attentive listener. Respect the fact that your heart is a giver, putting out electrical energy, and a receiver, drawing in magnetic energy. These energies are best sensed by attending to the steady flow of your breathing while also noticing your heart area. Righteousness, fear, anger, and judgment are some common ways to block your natural desire to love. Forgiveness is not only letting go of judgment, but also seeing through the illusion that you and all that is are separate. Look about you and inside of you and do your best to love whatever you see. True. Very true. Next up, Meadow Vulnerability. You are in a place now where you can take risks with your feelings, and even more important, take risks with the truth of who you are, the truth you know in your heart and soul. You no longer need to be subjected to your conditioned fears of letting others know who you really are. Yes, others may judge, evaluate, criticize, and perhaps even put you down. These are very real possibilities. Yet by trusting that you have the strength to deal with these reactions, rather than responding adaptively and always playing it safe, you can move confidently. You can more confidently allow yourself to be vulnerable. Always holding back from expressing your truth can create an illusion of safety, but armed with your trust and your faith, you can choose to be vulnerable and share your authentic self with the world. Beautiful. That's a beautiful message. I like it. Next up, Milky Way Perspective. You have lost your perspective, so it is time to step back, breathe, and allow yourself to detach in order to gather information from your senses and regain your perspective about the situation. Detachment does not mean that you no longer care. It simply indicates that you are looking at things from a different point of view. It is an outlook that is not clouded by emotions, judgment, or attachment to outcome, but instead maintains a non-reactive awareness of these things. The witness, that internal aspect of yourself that simply observes everything in your life, offers his or her eyes here. Through these lenses of pure awareness, you can examine all aspects of your experiences, physical, emotional, and mental, without denying anything. By doing so, you will come to understand a greater perspective than is typically justified by the ego, which allows you to see what is before you with clear vision and an open mind. Beautiful. Next up, Mountain Strength. It makes no sense to deny the strength you have at the cost of allowing yourself to be reactive and subject to external influences far beyond what is healthy for you. Imagine yourself as a mountain of strength, solidly grounded in the earth, your head held high as if you were touching the sky. Do so without straining, just as the mountain itself does not strain. The current situation calls for you to be vigilant, but not to the point of fear or paranoia. Be that rock of strength that you are capable of becoming. The solidness of your resolve will be clearly communicated when you model yourself after the towering immensity of a mountain, impenetrable and inscrutable. Standing steady like a rock is what is called for at this time. Beautiful. Ooh, next up, music, harmony. We know that I love music. This is a time of considerable harmony for you, one where the various elements in your life are flowing together smoothly, just as in musical harmony. It is the interface of these elements that merge into a cycle of symmetry and balance that evokes feelings of harmony. The challenge is to sustain this inner accord even when there is considerable dissonance outside of your own mind, heart, and body. Note the sensations, emotions, and thoughts you experience when everything seems to be moving along well. Take 3 deep breaths and let your breathing be the anchor that reminds you of this state of consciousness. Whenever you perceive chaos around you, know that it is a mirror for your inner turmoil. When you recognize this, take 3 or more breaths to bring forth the memory of those moments when your life was like a symphony, when every time you exhale, you are releasing the energy of your internal state of harmony into the world, and it will have amazing effects. Gorgeous. I love it. Next up, new moon, promise. This is the time to launch a project, a new relationship, or renew something that has been put aside for a later date. With your intention and willingness to allow a full cycle to complete itself, that which you deserve will manifest. That which you desire will manifest. The seed of that idea is ready to emerge from the darkness of your subconscious into your full awareness. The next step is to put into action what is required to fully realize this idea. A promise has 2 meanings. It can be a commitment and guarantee to yourself or someone else that a particular thing will happen, or it can imply that something specific is expected to happen. When your will is aligned with the will of Spirit and your intention is focused upon what you wish to have happen, there will be fulfillment, and the promise is kept. Beautiful. Yes, never make a promise you can't keep. Always, 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 always. Next up is ocean, ebb and flow. An important aspect in the art of living is to move with the ebb and flow of your emotions, joining their fluidity but not being captured by it. It is also not necessary to become obsessed with any particular fluctuation in mood or feeling. They are simply emotions often activated in ways that are completely beyond your understanding. When you neither minimize nor exaggerate the intensity and importance of your emotions, you then have a greater sense of when and how to express them. You have been fighting the ebb and flow of your own feelings, denying your hurt, anger, or sorrow by either attaching yourself to one or the other and nurturing it as if it were a nursing child, or else smoothing over the feelings with more practiced responses that deny and hide what is going on beneath the surface of your expression. When you attempt to constrict yourself from experiencing your emotions, it is much like trying to stem the tides that grow even more forceful with every attempt humans make to control them. Allow yourself to swim with these variations rather than resisting them. Beautiful. Next up is rain. Purification. Purifying your mind, body, and spirit is the task that is put before you. Purify your mind by identifying a prominent belief you carry about yourself that inhibits you from being fully engaged in life, from showing up 100% of the time. Purify your heart by allowing yourself to breathe in and out blessings and forgiveness so that you can love even more deeply. Let yourself feel your grief, truly feel it, so that the rivers of your tears become miniature baptisms that help heal the wounds in your soul. If necessary, detoxify your body, the temple and seat of the soul, by changing your diet, doing a cleanse for a few days, or simply drinking more water. Increasing the daily amount of water you drink with deep appreciation for its purpose will revitalize your spirit. It is no wonder that in some indigenous languages, water is called lifeblood, as it is so essential to every form of life on earth. Take time to purify yourself. Beautiful. Whoops. Okay, next up. Oh, beautiful. Rainbow. Blessings. The storm has passed, and it is time to enjoy the refreshing beauty of this cycle, even though it has been difficult to appreciate any sense of purposefulness in what you have endured lately. You can now, as they say, count your blessings. Do not just look at the brighter side. Adhering to some academic mantra that has no heart or depth, but do so slowly and with genuine gratitude that has expressed up close and personal. This ever-evolving process of life itself is a blessing, an opportunity to exist as a human being on Earth. The planet is a beautiful garden, even if it does not always appear to be so. Sometimes it is only when you look back at a memory of an experience that you can truly see the blessings that have come from them. Bless your difficult or painful experiences and let them go. Sometimes easier said than done, yes? Okay, next up, river, movement. Fighting or blocking the flow of your life force can lead you to feeling spiritually void and disconnected from source. Just like the metaphor of the river, it does not work to force or fight this compelling movement. When you simply pay attention and observe the flow, it becomes easier to navigate your experiences and see what lies ahead, or at least get a sense of what is to come by the ever-changing geography that unfolds as you cruise along. Your resistance is hampering your ability to make a choice in this matter. Surrender to the movement of life. Be grateful, and you will see the signs along the shore and in the river itself that offer you clues about what direction your egoless self is to be making. Go with the flow is more than a trite aphorism here. It is essential that you do so now. Breathe, relax, and you will know. Beautiful. Next up. Wow. Shamanism, ancient healing wisdom. Shaman. All illnesses, whether physical, emotional, or psychological, stem from an illness of spirit. It may be due to soul loss, psychic intrusions, ancestral karma, or any other spiritual causes that could be contributing to the manifest condition for which you seek help. Whatever other methodologies or remedies you pursue, whether allopathic, alternative, or a combination, let the healing of your spirit be your priority. Know that the deepest spiritual wound is the illusion of being separate from Source, God, Great Spirit, or whatever name you give the Creator. It is the trick of the mind that creates this sense of separation. This is a time for deep healing, starting with your relationship with Spirit. Call upon your spirit guides and ancestors to help you with any emotional, mental, or physical healing that you need. Call upon the Creator to assist you in mending any rift in your relationship with Spirit. Choose thoughts that support wholeness and well-being. Allow any darker thoughts or shadows to appear as well, but simply observe them as they arise in consciousness. Then dissolve, see yourself as healed, whole, and complete, and it shall be. What a lovely message. Next up, Spring Equinox, Rebirth. You thought this passage you have been through would never end. Just as certain that the light of the world fades every few months, it makes its return, and the earth rejoices. The fresh breath of spring sweeps away the cobwebs acquired from the absence of the light. The light is now obviously increasing as nature begins to emerge in all her many forms, shapes, and colors that remind us of the continual cycles of Earth Mother. This cycle of rebirth you are experiencing follows a considerably challenging time. Any tears you may have shed have cleared the way for what has been gestating, which is now ripe and ready to emerge. That which no longer serves you needs to be put to rest so that a freshness and newness of spirit can make itself known to you. Sometimes birth can be painful, particularly in that passage just before delivery. Yet what emerges can be fresh and beautiful. Be with the emergence of this next cycle with faith and grace. Gorgeous. Okay, I need to take a sip of my coffee. Okay. Oh, and this is on the cover of the Earth Magic box. Okay, beautiful. Next up, Stone People. Vigilance. Remain vigilant at this time, but not out of fear. Vigilance simply means opening up your mind and senses to information as it is presented to you, through your eyes, ears, physical sensations, and detached thoughts. It is especially true in two main areas. First, follow any gut feelings that tell you to be wary about someone or something. Second, pay close attention to an important opportunity that presents itself, one that may enhance your life and the lives of others. Maintain your vigilance of the clues around you and inside of you. Assess what is emanating from your body, and then sort out any conditioned responses from what is purely instinctual. Examine the situation with heart, intuition, and mind in harmony. For this is how vigilance serves you. Detach, take a breath, and stand tall in your stature. Beautiful. Stone people. Summer solstice. Radiance. Let the radiance of the sun inspire your inner radiance to shine forth. Release your concerns about what may happen in the future and focus on appreciating everything you have that is good and right. Allow Father Sun to take away your worries and cares. Do something physically active to stimulate your inner light. Dance, sing, but most important, get outdoors. Do not let any negative thoughts or habits stop you. When you are in love with life, you naturally radiate that love. During this part of your cycle, your capacity to love is greatly amplified. And one of those supreme ironies of life, the more love you give, the more returns to you. It starts by allowing the radiant being you truly are to be expressed into the world. Smile a little more. Notice the beauty of nature. See the humor in the paradoxes of life. Show your love, especially to those with whom you are closest. Then smile even more and watch how the world around you lights up. Beautiful. Next up, tree grounding. You have been feeling scattered and spacey lately. You are not fully in your body. That is because you have not been able to get grounded. This is quite literal in that your body is made of the materials of the earth. So when you feel disconnected from your body, you are inevitably disconnected from earth. So get yourself grounded. You can do so quite simply. With your feet firmly planted on the ground, wherever you are, feel the etheric roots that extend into the earth. Follow your breath so that each time you exhale, you can imagine these roots going even deeper. Each time you inhale, draw up the loving, nurturing power of Earth Mother. As soon as you have the chance, go outdoors and sit or stand with your back supported by a tree. Feel its solidness and integrity. It is simply being a tree. Breathe in the essence of tree spirit and allow this to fill you up. Walk barefoot very slowly on the ground so you can maintain this connection. Firm believer in no shoes. That is me. Next up, Tsunami. Wake-up call. You are getting a wake-up call. It may be in the form of a significant loss or other dramatic event in your life, typically one that you were not prepared for initially. You may feel stunned at first, surprised by the unexpected events that are occurring. Yet you also know that it is time to draw back the curtain of avoidance and denial and confront the truth that exists in the subtext of this event. You are experiencing a real-life drama, so there is no need to amplify it more than it already is. Often, when you look back after something like this has passed, you can recall signs that foreshadowed it happening. There may have been obvious clues that you ignored or omens that were so subtle they were easy to dismiss as images or imaginings of the mind rather than the voice of your instinct. There are many anecdotes about animals operating purely on instinct, picking up on clues and naturally seeking higher ground before an approaching tsunami reaches the land. To negotiate this wake-up call, listen closely to your instincts, while at the same time seeking the higher ground of spiritual truth. Wow, that's amazing. Kind of like the Tower card, yes. Next up, Volcano, Volatility. This is a particularly volatile time for you. Unexpected changes, sometimes quite sudden and dramatic, are occurring in ways that you have absolutely no control over. These occurrences may be so powerful as to shake up what you formerly thought of as the foundations of your security. They may even cause you to reassess the direction of your life, or the direction your life is taking, to question some of your relationships, or to reevaluate the work you have chosen. Although these events may rock your world, know that Spirit is the guiding force behind them. It is a matter of finding your trust that life knows what it is doing in the midst of these storms of change. It also requires you to make adjustments quickly and to not cling to what was, but instead move forward and welcome with your arms wide open what is yet to come, all from a place of being present in this moment. You truly have nothing to fear. Beautiful. Getting close to the end here. Next up is Waterfall, Effortless. You have come to the edge of your comfort zone and find yourself fighting to resist moving past that perceived precipice of who you are, how you can be, or what you can do. Spirit is asking you to step beyond the edge and allow yourself to do so with ease rather than struggle. Yes, at times physical exertion is necessary, but when performed with fluidity and grace, even when the task seems daunting, you'll find that the movement moves you effortlessly. Approach the present situation or relationship with awareness and grace. Do not try to make it effortless. That just creates more strain. The key word here is to allow. This is not a time to fight, but to surrender to the will of Spirit. Even if you are being asked to let go completely and tumble into the brink of creation itself, you will find the waters there to be ultimately still and calm. Keep your focus on your solar plexus and your breath, breathing through any tension, relaxing and yielding to the movement that is occurring at any given moment makes your life effortless. Beautiful. I almost started reading the next definition without turning the card. So sorry. Okay, next up is Whale, Breach. It is time to take a break. Not just a coffee break, but a respite from the usual environment you find yourself in. That trip you wanted to take? Go for it. Tired of being indoors? Make it a point to get outside. You have become so attached to your surroundings that you have created within them an illusion of safety. Yet it is not these things that make you feel safe. Rather, the familiarity you have imbued in your surroundings have generated this false sense of security. Taking time away from the familiar is literally about changing your external environment in a significant way, such as doing something unusual or perhaps something you have always wanted to experience. Another perspective is breaking through the barrier of beliefs that have constricted you in any way from being who you truly are. This is your opportunity to do some intentional breaching of these thought patterns, which will open you to different worlds and perspective. Hear, hear. What a wonderful card. Great definition. Okay, we have a couple more here. Next up is Wind. Activation. The lethargy you feel is a result of a lack of activation. In other words, something that stirs your senses. This could be anything from walking outdoors, feeling the breeze in your body, or inhaling the different aromas that nature herself provides, Or it could be finding the pleasure in a warm bath that helps you release the tension and stress from your mind and body. Music may activate your hearing, which sparks the pleasure centers in your brain. Art may activate your emotional responses. The touch of another human may activate a deep need to be physically held in some manner once again. Now is the time for action. Engage in some activity and be fully present so that you forget about your surroundings and enter into that timeless and multidimensional experience of union with the focus of your creative attention. Let your physical body be active. Movement alone, whether quietly dancing by yourself or hiking up that hill over yonder, will require you to be as present as possible in your body. Enjoy. Okay, next up, winter solstice, reflection. And I need to move my leg. Okay. Review the past year and ask yourself what the most important lessons you have had to learn are, what you have accomplished, and what dreams and visions you want to manifest in the upcoming year. Whether it has been a relatively smooth ride or a challenging series of events, acknowledge your experience as being the work of Source. No matter what your judgments, fears, or joys are, honor whatever has happened over the previous several months with gratitude and forgiveness. Then let it go. Allow yourself some solitude so you can spend some quiet, slow time in reflection. Once you feel complete, reflect on your present life, especially focusing on what you are grateful for. When you are finished, consider what is to come, all the different possibilities and potential that exist before you. Allow your imagination to roam without limitation or ambition and see what shows up. Notice how you feel in your body with whatever scenario plays out in your mind. These are previews of that which is gestating and can manifest and grow when cared for properly. Patience and stillness is called for here. For just as the earth cycles have their own pace, so does this cycle. Beautiful. Next up, and last card. Last card. Sorry, am I moving it around? Did I? All right, let me check to see if we're still in the shot here. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Okay, last card. Wolf, instinct. Who doesn't love wolves, right? You have lost touch with your instinctual sensitivities. It is the result of cultural and or religious proscriptions dictating that anything wild and instinctual is threatening and therefore has to be controlled or eliminated. I heard that. Now is the time to overcome this limited mindset and tune in to these instinctual cues. Let the spirit of wolf be your teacher and call upon this benevolent being for help identifying what those specific cues are saying. Shed some of your inhibitions with the only guideline being to do no harm. Amen to that. Do no harm. Experiment by getting out of the straitjacket of familiar societal norms and listening to those sensations in your guts that are trying to give you a message. It may be a warning or an urging to take action of some sort. Take some deep breaths and simply notice what your bodily sensations are telling you. Your mind will be the receiver of that information, and your body and mind can learn to work more closely with each other once again. Gorgeous. That is fantastic. I really like this oracle deck. It is beautiful. And let me just get up here and zoom out a little bit. It is, it's a beautiful deck. It's nice size, as you can see. Nice size. I have normal size girl hands. I'm going to, it went like this. Put that back in there. And there you go. The review for Earth Magic Oracle Cards by Stephen D. Farmer. Beautiful deck. And I really enjoyed reviewing it with you. If you like this deck and would like to purchase one for yourself, I do have an affiliate link in the description box below. Other than that, you know, do what you will with that. You can search for it yourself and see if you can find it a better deal. Not my preference. Up to you. Anywho, this will probably be part of a giveaway, so make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to make sure that you get notified when I post a new video. And hey, maybe you will end up winning this when I do my giveaways. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.